Okay, I'm introducing on my show now. Next special guest joining me. We have Kirsty Paterson. Well, what can I say? You're a Scottish Oompa Loompa, but how that happened, you had to go through a series of events. I first wanted to ask, have you had like an acting background, like performing with people?
Yes, so I've trained in theatre, professional dance ever since I was 4 years old. So I've done that ever since a young age, and I did my HNC and D in acting as well. So I'm quite well background in acting, but
Yeah.
it's just when I turned 20, when I turned a wee bit older, I moved on to something different because I don't want to say I gave up on my dream, but I had to start thinking of other channels, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So for this to happen like this is gave me a new lease of life that I can do my passion again.
Brilliant. So you've always wanted to be an actor. Have you ever found yourself being like in a 9 to 5 job, office work? That wasn't for you.
Oh, right. My story is so I actually ended up doing marketing at uni and I went to quite a good school and everything, from sorry, a good university. And then afterwards I did estate agency. Oh, and I just kind of was trying to be like everyone else. And I was miserable. It didn't suit me at all. And then I found out I had ADHD at 28 and I'm 29 now. And that kind of explained a lot why I was so miserable in a 9 to 5, because I just don't have the attention span and I'm very energetic. So I need to be in an active role,
Hmm.
creative role.
Do you find like working with people socially, it helps you with your confidence and self-esteem and like well-being as well?
For me, I'm extremely extroverted. So if I don't have that social engagement, I actually can find myself becoming depleted in energy. I know a lot of people are different, more introverted, but I'm extremely extroverted, so I get my energy from other people. So for this to happen the way it has happened for me, it has been a blessing because I was going through a stage in my life where I was doing that turning point into yoga. And it's quite hard going self-employed as a yoga teacher. So I was doing other jobs and stuff on the side, and I was really, really trying my best. And trying to build up that first amount of money was really, really difficult. So for this to happen to me and actually do my dream role and like dream job and the possibilities that are come with this and work with people all the time is just my dream come true, to be
Hmm.
honest with you.
It's brilliant. It just goes to show that dreams do come true for, people. During these times, it's nice to hear like success stories.
Oh, this is, I say this all the time. I had the worst luck ever probably up until now. And it's very hard being a creative and making it. So I know when the picture first came out, I was mortified and it was not a good thing for me at the start. However, how I've kind of turned this around and the support I've had of people, I'm so appreciative that how I'm now making a living and a career
Hmm.
and actually doing real work out this is, I'm so blessed and lucky as a creative that this has happened to me.
Yeah. I mean, people only have to look at like the recent news or what happened to see what happened there. So I just really wanted to get you on to touch about, the positives really. I mean, do you remember that day well, when you went by the first time you looked at the advert for that event, and then does it seem like a blur, or can you remember it like that as if it was only yesterday?
It was strange. So when I went for the job, it was actually initially a circus performer. So I do fire eating as well, but it was more just a hobby that I did on the side, and I did like my fire jams, and I was kind of still learning the ropes of it all. But like I said, it was me kind of a way of me later in life kind of going into a more creative aspect. I always wanted to do a fire burlesque act. So when I seen that they were looking for circus performers, I was like, that's fab. And that's strange. The initial application was for a circus performer. So when I applied, I didn't expect it to be. I've done kids' roles before. I'm
Mm,
quite diverse, and like, I take every acting role, seriously, because every acting role you're going to get isn't going to be glam. You might need to be the ugly sister. You might need to be like dressed as an old woman. Like you're not. So when I went on the day, I mean, I looked at the set and I thought this is clearly not set up yet. And it was the same day they called me, I came in, and my gut told me something was off straight away. And then they told me I was going to be a Wonka doodle. And I was like, this isn't kind of what I signed up for, but you know what? It's a role, so I'm going to, as an actress, I'm going to go and perform it,
Interesting.
you know? So
And just one final question I wanted to ask. So with this, positive has come out of it for yourself anyway.
it's been so positive. Like, so when I kind of wasn't expecting it to go as well as it has done. And I do believe it's not just luck. I've worked really, really hard and I've done auditions like everyone else. Yeah, maybe this has gave me the foot in the door, but I'm actually really good and talented at what I do.
Mm,
So when I went to America, and I did a Delhi event, I met Richard Kraft and he does all the Disney music theatre productions, which is amazing. And they were doing a Willy Wonka experience and all, and I met him and he's gave me narrating role at the Fringe in Edinburgh, which is massive. And to be working with, it's amazing what's happened. It's like a dream come true.
mm,
And I'm doing a documentary on the back of this as well. I can't disclose too much about that
mm.
yet, but it's just been, and I've been doing pride events, which I love. I love kind of doing them events. I've been doing kids events. I've been starting my own social media personality. I'm starting my own burlesque fire act as well on the basis of this as well. And I'm going back out to LA tomorrow actually
Oh wow.
to kind of build more work contacts and build up the right contacts that are going to make me successful. So it couldn't have actually went any
Mm,
better.
mm.
You
And
know,
yeah, sure. The because you were in a documentary on Channel 5 not so long ago, people can actually watch that
can
to
I
make
get a
their own
point
minds
out?
up.
Can I get a point out clear to there? I wasn't actually on it.
Okay.
Um, they just kind of took clips of me.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be on it. I refused
sure.
to be on it. So I know it's kind of like, because what they can do in the media, they can just take your video clips and they can just use it. So that's what they did. So I actually didn't agree to be on it, but it's just the industry. That's just what they do.
Yeah,
So
of course. Yeah. I've worked with TV as well, so I know exactly the crack.
I've learned so much about media in the past 3 months, what you can do, what you can't do, the industry. It's not all roses and rainbows. You need to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
very tough and cutthroat. And I think I've learned, I'm very proud of myself how I've got to the place I am, because it's quite a hard industry to be thrown into.
Hmm. I think that's just one question I wanted to ask. And the organizer of the event, it did come across as regretful, rueful. Do you think like people do make mistakes in life, and they do deserve like a second chance, or has he kind of blown it?
I don't want to say anything really about him, but I don't want anything to do with him.
That's fine. And
Yeah.
that's fine. My next question, I had to ask Willy Wonka as well. Have you
Mm.
always been a fan of the film
Yeah.
before
So
this?
like yeah, I love the initial, like the original version. It kind of goes back to my childhood, and I like the kind of aspect that where it's kind of similar to my experience. I know that sounds crazy, but do you know how Charlie, he wasn't in a good position, he didn't have much money, you know, to be fair, I'm very lucky with the family and stuff I have, and it feels like when I look back at my favourite's the original one, but I feel like so much of the actual Charlie in the Chocolate Factory stories actually relate to me so much, because I literally had no money. I was going for a breakup. I moved back home. My life was rubbish and I didn't know where I was going. I was really, really struggling to make the yoga work. I was trying so hard, and I've literally won the golden ticket with it
Mm,
all. And it's I'm very, very that's just how it feels, like a real life
mm,
Charlie and Chocolate Factory winning. Yeah. I've
marvelous.
won the golden ticket.
Yeah, it's an ageless film, isn't it? It's 55 years on approximately, and it still hasn't timed, does it? You can still watch it in 100 years.
It's a classic, so
Yeah.
I used to watch it all the time when I was younger, and it's like it's one of them films that you can watch over and over again, and you know, actually watched it. So see, I stayed up the whole night because I was so confused by the script at the event, because obviously it's generated by AI. But I was a wee bit slow, to be honest with you. So I was actually watching the original Willy Wonka film all night to try and understand who this Wonka Doodle is and what this is and what the unknown is. Because I was like, have I missed something here?
Mm.
So I actually watched it the night before I actually did the Glasgow Willy Wonka experience to try and make sense of it all, and it still didn't make sense.
Mm. Have you seen the latest release just before Christmas? The prequel.
The Timothy one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, do you know what? I've got a wee crush on Timothy, so I was like right on it. Yeah, I liked it. It's a kind of a different dynamic, but I do like it. I do
Mm.
like it. I watched it on the way to America as well.
That's good. And then the Johnny Depp, that as a lot of people say, that's a lot to be desired. You know,
Do you know what? They're just amazing actors,
yeah,
and I do love every single one of them. But my favourite is the classic,
yeah,
the
you can't beat
initial
it.
one.
And
Can't beat it.
Kirsty, I wanted to ask, so you're an Oompa Loompa now, and do you have a like an Instagram page where people can follow you, give you a like, see what you're up to?
So my page is Scottish Oompa Loompa. So because I'm Scottish and because it's came from Scotland, I think it's right to give it the Scottish Oompa Loompa name.
Why not? Well, Kirsty, thanks very much for taking your time out today. We finally got you on. I do appreciate it, and answering some of the questions, Um, and yeah, it's brilliant. I wish you the best of luck with your career. Well done. All right, you've turned something
Oh,
negative in the press or into positive, and it does happen.
it's a lot of hard work. It's not happened easily.
Mm,
It's not happened without a lot of work and a mental resistance. But I'm proud of myself and how I've turned it around.
brilliant. Good for you. Thanks for taking time out to speak to me today. This is a Danison, a Radio Show on podcast as well.
Thank you.
Brilliant.